Good evening, Matinee Tribunalek എല്ലാവർക്കും ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി സ്വാഗതം. അതുപോലെ ഇന്ന് വളരെ ടെക്നോളജിക്കലി മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ട ഒരു വിഷയമാണ്. നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസിന്റെ കാലത്താണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മളുടെ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻസിൽ പലതും ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസസ് സ്വന്തമായി സ്വീകരിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞു. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് നമ്മൾ മൊബൈൽ അതുപോലെ നെറ്റിലൊക്കെ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന സമയത്തെല്ലാം. അപ്പൊ ആ ഒരു ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ സൈഡ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ AI എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആപ്ലിക്കേഷന്റെ പാർട്ട് എവിടേക്കാണ് ഹെൽത്ത് കെയറിൽ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നാണ് ഇന്ന് കണ്ണൻ സാർ നമ്മോട് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് നേവിയിൽ ഉയർന്ന ഉദ്യോഗത്തിനായി വൈസ് അഡ്മിറലായി അതിനുശേഷം മറ്റ് പൊതുമേഖലാ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങളൊക്കെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് ഒത്തിരിയും അനുഭവമുള്ള സാറ് ആ മേഖലകളിലൂടെ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് AI എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മളിലേക്ക് കടന്നത് വളരെ കൃത്യമായി നമ്മോട് സംസാരിക്കും. നിങ്ങളെല്ലാവരുടെയും പേരിൽ വൈസ് അഡ്മിറൽ കണ്ണൻ സാറിനെ ഞാൻ ക്ഷണിക്കുകയാണ്. സാർ, യു ആർ വെൽക്കം.
Thank you, Sabu. Good evening to all of you. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Sabu for giving me an opportunity once again, but this time on a topic which is pertaining to an emerging technology of artificial intelligence. It's very popularly called AI. In an AI application, very simply put, in an AI application, there is a digital computer which is programmed through a separate software to respond like a human brain for a particular situation. So 3 aspects you should remember is a digital computer. Size may be very small. It has got a dedicated software and it will respond like a human brain to a particular situation. The AI computer has got the ability to read the situation. If the situation changes, it can understand, and based on the changing conditions, it will suggest a response which the person who is owning it or the operator who is attached to it can decide. The AI computer itself can do the job, itself command the change, but normally it gives a suggestion. As we go along, we will understand this part, the role part the AI role is. Many people understand role and scope of AI differently, and often they confuse it with a simple digital control automation. So there's a difference between an AI-enabled operation and a digital computer-enabled operation. There's a difference. We'll talk about it a little later. So many products and services which are given to us in the market, they say it's AI controlled, AI enabled, but actually it is not AI controlled enabled. It is just digital computer doing certain predetermined operations based on some conditions. So it would be my endeavor to give you a very simplified overview of AI and how it can respond like a human brain. I will also touch upon the different types of AI, different techniques of AI, many applications, very common applications in our everyday life. Subsequently, almost in the second half of my presentation, I will focus on how AI is going to play a role in healthcare, which is applicable to all of us, and we can understand whether AI has got a role to play in our healthcare, which today otherwise we may be accessing or approaching a non-AI environment. So with this, I will upload my presentation, which has got many parts as usual, so that in case you want to watch it Subsequently, you can do it part by part for installment viewing. Normally, I take 1 hour in my class, and today I suppose it may be slightly less than that. So with this, I share my screen, and I've shared the screen. Can you see it now?
Yes, it's a comment. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I share the screen. And now let me talk about the role of AI in healthcare. Right. So let me give a brief introduction. Scientists have been working for the last 100 years to make a computer and mimic it for human brain. They've been doing this from 1920 onwards. They have been researching how to do it. And it's only after the digital computers came in late 1940s, an artificial chess player was created in 1951 in UK, if I remember right, the Oxford University. And that computer played chess with a regular chess player, regular chess champion. That was the beginning of today's artificial intelligence. It started in 1951. Then thereafter, for about 40 years, it was very dormant because there were many technological challenges. Everywhere you can't carry a computer and say there is AI in this, it will do the job or it will suggest solutions. So this picked up actually after electronic hardware became very small, like IC chips started coming. So when the chips started coming and when memory capacity could be increased in small computers made with chips, AI started picking up. So Industry 4.0 applications, as well as this advent of ICs, became major thrust for AI to pick up after 21st century. These customized AI modules mushroomed in various sectors like manufacture, design, quality control, healthcare, etc. I want to say it is not by early 20th century, it is 21st century. There's a correction on the slide. Today, AI commands nearly $90 billion market world over and is expected to grow to 300 billion by 2030. AI offers you speed, accuracy, versatility, and even cost savings. And this is attracting many economic activities to take the AI route, essentially to reduce load and fatigue on the human brain, which will happen when it takes repeatedly the same job. So the human brain has the speed, but it cannot work for many hours continuously, especially with the repetitive jobs, without having a fatigue. So AI is a solution for that. Now, how does a human brain respond to a situation? I will explain to you in 5 minutes in a very simple way with some examples. So let us see what are the basics of human intelligence, which is actually coming out of human brain. Whenever there is an event, let's say it is raining outside, it's an event. It is a data and it is linked to facts. So whenever you see it is raining, which is data, you are thinking about aspects related to rain. It was a light rain, heavy rain, how much rain we had this week. All these things will come to your mind. And these aspects, which will talk about what, when, where, is it raining in Palakkad also? Is it raining only in Coimbatore? So these questions will come to your mind. And when you have the answers for that, the data becomes information. data which was only facts now became information when you had additional inputs like who, what, when, where about that particular event. And then it becomes a content in that information. This is what happens in your brain. When you see an event, all this thing come to your mind automatically. And if you want to go further beyond information and analyze why and how it is
നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. സർ അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യും.
Okay, can we continue?
Yes, sure.
Right. So the knowledge which is residing in your brain, it gets triggered when a particular event occurs. And thereafter, the issue comes. You may not have knowledge on every aspect. You will have more knowledge on some pet topic of yours and relatively less knowledge on other aspects. So when you have knowledge residing in your brain, and it happens for many, many years like this, then it comes to wisdom. It is insight. It resides in your brain, and you are wanting to know what this means, how the situation will change. So when you say he's a wise man, that means he has got wisdom. That is going further. When you have gone further in this wisdom with more years, then you get intuition. Oh, this may happen. That is instinct. It's a hunch that such an issue can happen. So this is the hierarchy in which your brain works. When you see an event, you go up in this hierarchical level on that. But if you don't have enough knowledge on a particular topic, then it may not go to, you may not have a role to play as a wise or a person who has got intuition. He doesn't have a sixth sense on it. You say he's got sixth sense, but one doesn't have sixth sense on all topics. So if you have knowledge, then it is possible to mature into wisdom and intuition. This is how the brain stores its reaction to a situation. Now, I have not talked about intelligence so far. Now I'm going to introduce the word intelligence in the human brain. So let's go to the next slide. When your knowledge
Sir, slide
is
കട്ടായി പോയി കേട്ടോ. സ്ലൈഡ് കട്ടായി.
Sorry?
സ്ലൈഡ് കട്ടായി പോയി. ഒന്ന് ഷെയർ ചെയ്തു.
No, I think something wrong with is it my
സാർ സിസ്റ്റം ഡൗൺ ഇടയ്ക്ക് കറണ്ട് ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഔട്ട് ആയിരുന്നു. ഒന്ന് ഷെയർ ചെയ്താൽ മതി.
India?
ഒന്ന് ഷെയർ ചെയ്താൽ മതി. സ്ലൈഡ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്താൽ.
ഒരു മിനിറ്റ്. Sorry, I don't know how to go about this. Once more share, huh?
Yes.
Is it okay now?
Yes, coming. Okay.
Okay, now so let me go back to the slide where I left you.
Now clear.
Now it's clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you have knowledge on some topic and you're able to speak, you're able to express, you are able to consider conditions, whether you should speak at all, whether you have the social values, whether you should speak on this topic or not, or the situation is that you should keep quiet. All that ability which is there in your brain, that combines with the knowledge. You have the knowledge, but you may prefer not to speak. You may have the knowledge, but you may speak because it is appropriate for you to speak. So that ability to express, to speak, when both of this combine, it becomes intelligence. So what we see as human intelligence is a combination of your capability or ability to express, speak, communicate, etc., with knowledge on the topic. Obviously, if you don't have knowledge on a particular topic, you may have the ability to speak, but you can't speak anything because you don't have knowledge. So both are required. Now, this is what happens in the human brain. This is natural intelligence. Till now, I've not come to artificial intelligence. This is natural intelligence. It is a combination of knowledge and ability to communicate, ability to consider social aspect, whether you should speak or not. So this intelligence you want to achieve through a computer, and I come to the next slide, is this. You make a computer, I've shown it as a cloud, which has got all the software, which will take into account how to build up the knowledge on the topic. And thereafter, it will generate artificially the intelligence. Now, this output, which is coming from the AI computer, it can be by voice, it can be by alarm, it can give you a text, or it can control something off, on, whatever it wants to do it. So this is what AI computer is about. So you need to have a computer and you need to have the software on that particular topic and mimic how the human brain is going to react to a situation. And how does the situation come? It comes by an event, it comes by a data, it comes by some requirements which have been given. So with this background, that artificial intelligence, when it has to be realized, there's a computer hardware and there's a computer software, and the software has been written to mimic your human brain, the way the software engineer knows. After all, software is written by a human and the engineer only. He will sit and write, this is how the human brain works. It builds up the knowledge. It will read more about this topic. It'll get some more data from the net, put them all together, and then give the output. So let us go forward. Let us see some of the applications of AI. But before that, let me give some history. I told you it started in 1950. It's almost 70 years now. It started with a chess player in 1951 in UK. Then in 1956, in the Conference of Engineers, they gave this term called artificial intelligence. As I told you, it had lots of ups and downs, more of downs. For 40 years, it was not very popular. After that, when computer became realizable with small ICs and Industry 4.0 application, I'll just take a minute to explain what is Industry 4.0 application. That means you are able to put a computer interface with some industrial system to do a specific job, and it will execute it based on various inputs given. Now, we will talk more examples of this. AI started coming into prominence after this, after 2000. And today it exists in different forms, different structures and types to give speed, accuracy, and versatility. So as we go to the next slide, you should remember AI is a small computer, usually in a chip, which has got the software written to give a suggestion to you or to execute the command as per the software written inside that. So let us look at types of AI. There are things called weak AI. Many of you have got Alexa in your house or Siri in your mobile. They're all weak AI. Alexa, get me switch on the AC. Alexa does that through some. It knows it has to give so and so command to the AC, and AC will come on in the bedroom. It will do it. If the AC has to be switched on in some other room, it will give a different command. But they are all very simple things, which AI started doing initially. Today they are called weak AI. Examples I told you. Similarly, Siri in your who's your AI assistant in your iPhone. Now there are AIs which are strong AIs. Driverless car has not come to India so far. It is also under trials in the West. In some places, it is running in for certain durations of the day. That is strong AI because there's a computer inside the car, not just stopping the car with red light or starting the car with green light. It has got cameras on all sides. It looks at all the pictures, looks at any other object is there. It looks at traffic light. It plays the horn when it is required to alert somebody, a pedestrian or another person who's traveling. So the program is written in such a way that it has got a lot of interfaces and it has to control the speed and the direction of the car. There are a lot of medical diagnoses, which are examples of strong AI. We'll talk about it as we go along. Google Map is another example, but it's of strong AI. Take the example. You look at the Google Map from here to the nearest, let's say, go to Kochi, and then you find somewhere it is marked red. That means the traffic is very intense in that point. There's a block likely to happen. How does it get red? Because the Google knows there are so many users crowding in that area, either on scooters or cars or buses, who are the users of Google, and say there is a crowd there. But some other open place, there are very few people there, it doesn't mark red. So it takes a lot of inputs and puts it in a language which you can easily understand. So that's an example of AI, which we are already using. Then there is something called generative AI. I want to know more about what will happen if it doesn't rain during rainy season. Use ChatGPT and ask the Google to give you what is the various paper to read about it. Give me an essay on this. It'll give you, many of you may have used ChatGPT. It generates text, it generates videos, it generates some images. So it puts it all together and gives you a file very quickly and say, you read all this, you will get the knowledge. So finally, the computer, which is through the mobile or through the laptop, when you're getting a ChatGPT output, it is for you to read and understand and store it in your brain as knowledge for a subsequent action. But to get that knowledge in quick time, you are using an application called ChatGPT. So there are three types of AI: weak, strong, and generative. Now, there are many techniques used in AI. So let us see some commonly used techniques. First is they use machines which can work on a particular algorithm. Algorithm means a rule by which it should follow. Let us say it is mostly strong AI, not simple. Let's take an example. Traffic light. We are all familiar with traffic light, which changes after so many seconds, which is a fixed number. But in many countries now, the timing of the traffic light depends on the traffic intensity. So if the traffic is flowing south more at this point of time, that light will remain green for a longer period. And the other lights will have less time. So this is based on intensity of traffic. Evenings, the lights will remain green for a longer period in green. And during daytime or during non-peak hours, it's the other way around. So there are softwares made by which traffic lights are controlled, AI, looking at the traffic intensity. How does he know the traffic intensity? He takes that information from Google. Google tells you there are so many people in the road waiting to start for the traffic light once it becomes green, and they're all in this road because of they all are using Google. So they are able to, he's able to give an idea of how many people are in the line. The same technique is being used for many of the bank dealings. Fraudulent bank dealings have been detected using AI based on repetitive transactions happening between two particular accounts. It's very easy for the computer to track. Or one particular account is having a lot of transactions being done, small amount, to keep it below certain qualifying amount so that it doesn't get detected the normal way. But the computer can detect it. Many transactions are taking place. And this way they have been able to detect some fraudulent. So you design the software in the computer, and that computer is detecting it. And it can adapt itself. Let's say there are many transactions taking place, and it knows it is a genuine customer because of many other factors. So it's okay, disregard this. The computer automatically will disregard that particular case. So it's an adaptive rule or adaptive algorithm which the machine follows. That's why it's machine learning. Now, then there are language processing. Weak AI example. You tell Alexa, give me a song sung by Mohammed Rafi. What does Alexa do? It goes to YouTube, types it out there, Mohammed Rafi, and if you say about a particular film, it will put the film name also, and then it will select out of 4 songs which are there. It may ask you also, otherwise it will play the first one, which it comes its way. This is a very weak example where it recognizes your voice. It understands what you're asking. Not only voice, the meaning of what you're asking. Get me a song by Mohammed Rafi, it understands, and then plays it. But there are strong AIs also in language processing. I'll give an example. This is regarding, let's say, your Gmail. You get Gmail, and many mail which you receive, you don't read, you don't even open. You look at the address and delete. And you start deleting it because you know you're not interested in that mail. But the Google understands Hariharan doesn't want this mail which is coming from some share broker. He's not interested. So if mail comes, he routinely deletes it. He has observed this. The Google computer has observed that Hariharan is shifting this mail from inbox to delete folder. So what does he do? After seeing this for a few days or a couple of weeks, he automatically puts in spam folder. He knows you're not interested, he puts in spam folder. This is generated by the Google computer based on a pattern, your behavior pattern. And it observes that, makes it a rule for it, and that is an intelligence which has come out of your action, and the computer follows. So this is an example. This is a technique used by computers in AI. Then there are neural networks. That means you produce a computer algorithm, a computer software, which is complex inputs are combined together in time, and then decisions are taken. Driverless car. Camera on the left says there is some object. Camera on the right says there's an object. Apply brake. Car is stopped. So this requires multiple inputs to be considered at the same time, and a decision taken by the car which doesn't have a driver. So this is another example of AI where it is using neural network. Facial recognition It is there in many important offices now. You go there, it sees your face and allows you to go past the door. Same thing is there in your mobile. Your face is recognized, and then only it allows you to open the mobile, unlock the mobile. So this is another form of AI which we are using these days. Is also used in medical diagnosis. So that we are going to discuss the second part of this presentation. Then there is robotics. Machines which will do what you want it to do. There are also examples of weak and strong. Weak, you got a robot to clean your house. That's a very simple application. You put the map of your house inside the computer, and you give a time every morning between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, do this. It will automatically give the alarm and start doing the work if there is power in the battery, which I'm sure you would have switched on the charging. So that is a weak AI. It's a very simple job. But in an industrial production where like there are many products today, especially in the automobile industry, the robots are welding the car together, assembling the various pieces, etc. So there you require inputs to consider the quality aspect, the material aspect, and the sequence in which it has to be done, because multiple types of activities are there, and it is three-dimensional movement of the robotic arm. So just for comparison, I just want to tell, your house cleaning is only two-dimensional, X and Y. It cannot climb upstairs. Just remember that. So you have strong examples of AI in robotics, including for surgery, which is done under the supervision of the doctor. Doctor may intervene at some point. Otherwise, he allows the robot to do the work. So these are the four main techniques used in AI in different applications. Machine learning, language processing, neural network, and robotics. And each has got examples of weak AI and strong AI. So these are techniques. The other one was the complexity of AI. So we finished seeing that. Now we come to some advantages of having AI. Advantage is, as I told, it can reduce human error and fatigue, which I told about some time back. It is available 24/7, never sleeps. Repetitive task, it easily handles, and it doesn't get bored like a human operator who can get bored doing the same job again and again. Quick action, speed is an element. It eliminates bias. It does not look at the particular subject under examination. So it does without any bias on the job. And now we look at the disadvantages of AI. First is there is no human touch or feeling. Now, that's very important. The emotions which can come, the empathy which can come from the human being, AI cannot give. No, this is very important in healthcare. The way the doctor speaks to you, the way the doctor makes you understand your illness, or makes you understand your relatives' the illness. There's a human touch to the conversation, which does not happen in AI. As of now, it doesn't happen. Cost of implementation can be high, but running cost is low. There can be some attrition of workforce. If AI is implemented in organizations, you can have some manpower cut, and thereby some people may lose a job. This is a standard thing, likely thing to happen. And another aspect of AI is it's a fixed line of response. There is no scope for any creativity to happen, any modification to happen to the line of action. It's the same way it will execute. So if you want that, then you have to think that somebody has to change the software to make sure this change is incorporated. So this is a disadvantage. Creativity does not get included as and when the human operator knows about it. There's also a feeling that people become overly reliant and leave it to the AI to give a suggestion or decision to do it, which in fact takes away initiative away from the operators, takes away the initiative from the team members. So this is a disadvantage, and it can have some issues on safety as well as productivity. Data privacy is a concern. Because a lot of data, your personal data, or your personal behavioral pattern, or your requirements which you want to do, your work routine, all these aspects are in the computer which is doing the AI. And if that is read through some cyber attack, then you will lose some of your personal data. So that threat is there. I don't think it will happen, but one has to be wary about that. Data privacy is a concern in AI. Extending it further, it can harm public safety if you leave defense applications only through AI. That means, let us say you saw the AI, the radar sensed there is a drone coming towards at you, and you put it through AI, and the AI says open gunfire, and the gun start firing, which may be correct action, but it can also be that the information which was coming into the AI was not reliable, not 100% correct. So there is an overlay required of confirmation by a human operator. So in defense applications, people have not been recommending AI, free hand for AI, they have not been recommending. They said, let the AI be there, let it give its suggestion, but the operator takes the final decision. There are some more applications coming this way. As we go along, we'll talk. That means AI is in an advisory role and not an executive role, right? Just remember that. In fact, this aspect of AI was discussed in the first global summit on AI safety held in 2023 in UK. Because even in industrial applications, if you leave the manufacturing process in the factory to the AI-controlled computer, you may find that the human overlay was missing, and there could be some aspects of safety which are violated. So a recommendation is where there are heavy machinery, where there are armament, where there are drastic change of application, AI should be only in advisory role and not an executive role. This is a conclusion which the AI Summit had come to in 2023. So with this, I go now to the applications in AI which we come across in our life very briefly. As I told you earlier, it can conserve energy and it can be used in applications for straightforward, but that's an example of weak AI. It can be used in maintenance, logistics. I told you about house cleaning, similarly office cleaning, and similarly in various other logistic operations which are in the office. But they're all well entered in the software, and it does as per those routines. So these are weak applications away. Now let us just quickly touch upon some strong AI applications which have come in our life. Finance and banking. For better security and protection against fraud, I talked about it. That's a strong AI, which has already been used by many banks in our country. Driverless car. Agriculture, for higher yields and crop protection. A lot of aspects. How much medicine should I put? The humidity is like this. The temperature is like this. Wind pattern is like this. So can I spray the medicine now? Or how much should I spray? In which area I should spray? All those things are for crop protection, are controlled by the computer. Similarly, for regarding water which has to be given through, maybe through drip irrigation, and how to get better yields using a computer. So it is already started coming in. It's called smart agriculture. It's already there in many places. Social media also uses for advertisements based on demographic targets. All the advertisements which you see in Facebook and YouTube, etc., are looking at where you are from, what is the language you prefer, and what is your type of entertainment you want to have. Those advertisements will come to you. Those related pictures and references will come to you in social media. That's being done through AI. It can be used for education. It's essentially for monitoring progress of a large number of students and then compiling data. There isn't much of an example of it is only for data analysis and comparison of data. Chatbots you must have used in many server when you have interface. The customer satisfaction is a big objective, which is achieved through chatbots. There are different applications, as I told you, and it's also used extensively in healthcare. That is a topic which we're going to now. We're going to talk about how much AI has come into healthcare for you and me, how it is available to us, or how much our doctor can use AI, and where he's feeling comfortable with AI as his assistant, AI as an advisor, or AI as a substitute. It can be in any form. So let us look at all these aspects in our next part and the final part, that is AI in healthcare. So I have broken down the healthcare process into 4 stages. It can be more stages if you want, but I have made 4 stages. The first stage is diagnosis. That means you go to a doctor. Doctor looks at your illness problem. Once the diagnosis is over, then treatment. That's a second phase, second stage. The third is the records which are created. It can be a lab record, it can be a scan, it can be an MRI, it can be ultrasound, whatever it is. Those health records which are created, which are used during diagnosis, but they are stored and kept separately somewhere as health records. And the fourth is what policy you evolve out of this. Because you may find as you diagnose and treat and health records are created, you'll find there are many patients having similar problem, maybe belonging to a particular area, maybe belonging to a particular factory or workplace, and there they're having this problem. So it is possible to examine what is the policy which needs to be adopted to reduce their healthcare issues or the illness issues. So these are 4 stages. So let us expand a little more. Stage 1, diagnosed patient consult doctor. He may do some tests and he concludes a line of treatment. And he says, okay, you do like this, have this medicine for 10 days, come back to me. This is a diagnosis, very simply I put. It could be much more complicated than this. So what happens, let us go some examples, let us see in AI in diagnosis. There is something called now Internet of Medical Things, IOMT. Earlier, it was Internet of Things. That means you had certain electronic equipment which will measure a particular aspect, maybe temperature. It'll measure temperature of this room and report through internet to or through a server, report what is the temperature of this room. It will display in the control center. Very useful when you have very big offices, when you have laboratories, when you have cold storage. What is the temperature in cold storage? It is detected and reported to the main control center. It has an idea. It is displayed there. It is not done through hardwaring, but it is done through internet. That's how the term Internet of Things came in IoT, which became very popular Industry 4.0 applications. Now, Internet of Medical Things have come, and they have hardware which is supplied to the hospitals, which the patient can wear it. It's a wearable. You wear it around your wrist like a watch. It will monitor your pulse. It'll monitor your blood heartbeat, etc., etc. And then it can report by internet to the doctor in his house or to the nurse in the other end of the ward. It can go there. And if it is permitted, maybe your relative can see it from their house. What are your parameters? So it's a wearable has come as IOMT. It is a very common thing these days. Many people, even if they are not patients, when they go for a run, they wear a wearable, which actually measures your heartbeat, your pulse rate, and then you are looking at how many steps you have taken. It will come converted to kilometers or miles and tell you what speed you have been doing. All these things are done in the wearable, but there is a small chip which does all this. But essentially, it is taking the inputs from your body movement. Now there's an insidable which has come. That means you swallow this as a pill, but it's got a camera inside. It will go and take photographs inside your body, which is very useful for the doctor to see because it will get transmitted from there through radio frequency, and the doctor can see on the screen the photograph of what is happening inside. Similarly, for implantable, you can have something implanted in your body, which will, as long as it's implanted, it will keep transmitting data through the internet. It will get stored in the computer, in the ward where you're admitted, or in the ICU where you're admitted, and the doctor is able to get a pattern of your medical data, the last 24 hours, last 5 days, last 2 weeks, how you have been, how is your parameter been, is it been controlled? Is it coming under normal conditions, etc. The doctor is able to make note from the pattern of the data which the computer has put up to him as a summary. And there's also a smart bio patch which has come now. The bio patch is something which is stuck to your skin, usually used for cardiology cases, where you put it there and it's got a transmitter on that, which will be able to measure the various parameters of your heartbeat, etc. And of course, we also have something very similar for your ECG or echo, cardio echogram. But BioPatch will automatically transfer to the internet, which is or through the Wi-Fi in the ward, and it will come to the doctor. So you don't have to lie on a bed with all these things connected to you. It will automatically come to you, depending upon whether you are lying in a bed or you're walking or you put on a treadmill. All these things are done through the BioPatch. So these are few examples which have come of AI in diagnosis of a problem. I've not yet come to treatment. I'm talking of diagnosis. Then these IOMTs, which account for nearly 30% of IoTs. IoT, a family IoT has got IOMT. 30% of IoTs today are IOMTs. And they're not extremely accurate. This is what the studies in West has said. They're not 100% accurate, like many other medical equipment which we use to measure the same parameter. But they would normally give a trend of the parameters, which is under measurement. And it can be a forewarning of some parameter going outside a limit, which will help the doctor to understand the illness better. Then there is something called software controlled devices. Let's say there is a patient or there is a person who has got snoring problem, what's called sleep apnea. So Normally, what happens is if you are snoring and you have breathlessness because of that, you may change sides from left to right, and then it gets reset. When you have this breathlessness, you may natural reaction, or somebody lying close to you in the next bed may just tap you and tell you to turn that side, and then also the snoring gets interrupted. But with a software control device, it will sense whether, based on your breathing pattern and also the measurement of oxygen level in your blood, it will, when it finds it is going down, it will have the device which is worn on your hand. It has got a small key-like thing. That key will come out and just pierce your hand or touch your hand hard, and you will wake up and change side, and then you will go back to normal breathing. So this has been recently introduced in the West as a software control device. At the same time, it also records all this data in the computer in the ward, so that next morning when you get up, you can see how good your sleep has been, how many times the software control device interrupted your snoring, and you came back to normal breathing. All these things, the doctor can see it, you can see it, and that gives you feedback. So this is a new AI application which has come. Then there is a great improvement these days in AI on image analysis, be it X-ray, be it ultrasound, be it MRI, be it CAT scan. All these recordings are, when they're all now digital recordings. But when you see it, you may see it as a graph because it's converted back to analog and printed. But otherwise, they are digital recordings. And for digital, when they come on the screen, it is based on what is the pixel value, what is the smallest resolution of a place which you can magnify and see. You must have very often seen a photographer telling you, so this photograph is not good. It is getting pixelized because the camera which you used has got a resolution with a high pixel value. So these days there are machines which have got very low pixel value, and you're able to go down to the low pixel value and magnify. Especially in MRI and ultrasound, you are able to see the tissues which are having problems, maybe a cancerous aspect or some other inflammation or some other condition which has deteriorated for the tissue. You're able to magnify it very well, which normally you find it difficult to see on a small screen with the doctor. You can see it, you're able to enlarge it now to the small pixel and see it very clearly. And the doctor is able to come to a conclusion. It is not just the human eye which you look at the full screen and then you're able to see it. Then another aspect which has come for dementia, this may be of interest to some of you. You may be having elders in the house who are having onset of dementia and old age. So what research has found, if the dementia is going to sort of settle into a particular person, the first aspect which will get affected is the speech. It will start showing up in the way the person is able to speak. So what they have is the same text you speak at, say, every day or every 2 days or every week, you speak, and that is recorded and analyzed word by word by the computer to see whether you're having some difficulty or some slurring in your speech, which can indicate that dementia is likely to set in. So speech analysis by computer using AI is already started happening in many leading hospitals. I'm not sure about India, but it's definitely there in the West. And the last point which I want to talk about here is that there are many expert annotated algorithms based on experience of doctors. And they are saying that if you're able to monitor the data of the patient, which is either through a wearable or through implantable or through a insidable, whatever, or a biopatch, you're able to analyze the data to a great extent. Sorry? So you are able to analyze this by expert algorithms, and you're able to make a prediction of heart-related or type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, kidney illness. So this is one of the recent AI application, which has come from data mining and data analysis, what they call big data. With the big data, we are able to analyze and then come to some conclusions. And those algorithms have been vetted by experts, and they are able to make some predictions. So these are some of the AI applications in diagnosis. Now, in treatment, let's come back to the second stage. The patient may be inpatient, outpatient. There may be a surgery or may not be a surgery, follow-up test. And if things are not satisfactory, it goes back to diagnosis. But let's look at AI in treatment. What has happened in the world over? First is telemedicine has always been there, but telemedicine is hardly any AI. You are able to speak to a patient, and he is able to show you through the camera what is condition of the eye or the skin or whatever is the illness he's having, the symptoms, and you're able to advise on this. No, now it is telemedicine with augmented reality. That means you have the image of the patient's condition. Let's take a skin problem, or let's take an eye problem, what the patient's image is. And then you have a side-by-side, what should be the natural way of that particular organ. These are kept side by side, and it's not only useful for the doctor to, otherwise the doctor is comparing from the image in his mind. This is how a normal eye should be. This is how a normal skin should be. He knows it. But now they are kept side by side images. It not only helps the doctor, but also explains the patient. The patient is made to understand, actually, it should be like this for your condition. Now it is like this. So I have to correct it by maybe a surgery or maybe some treatment, etc., etc. So this is a new thing which has come in treatment, telemedicine plus augmented reality. Robotic surgery, we have already talked about. A lot of advantages, less hospital stay, less blood loss, and faster recovery, and less invasive. There's a new thing which has come, which is called precision medicine. That means the medicine dosage is varied patient to patient. Even today now, oh, how old is your child? 6 years. Okay, you give quarter tablet, doctor says. Somebody else, 20 years old, half tablet. So that is also some way of dosage control. But now it has gone even further, where it is not only looking at the age or the condition of the patient, but also it looks at lifestyle, genetics, and environment in which the patient is living or working. And then a particular dosage is fixed. So this precision medicine has gained a lot of ground in cancer treatment, because every type of cancer and every patient is a different case. So doctors have found that it is necessary to make the medicine which is given to the patient adaptive to the condition based on many factors which I talked about. Then AI has also come in what's called drug discovery. Today, just let me tell you, without AI, when pharmaceuticals want to develop a new drug, they look at a combination of the various chemicals, components which are required in the medicine. they make it, and then they are doing some test on specimens like rabbit or rats or something else, and study the results over and over again. And then they find they should make some changes in the composition of the medicine, and then do the specimen again, do the studies. And thereafter, when they find that they are been able to find a suitable composition, then they make a drug suitable to be done on an adult human being, and then it is given. There are some people who are undergoing this test. Results are seen, analyzed, this are etc. Changes are made. This process takes almost 10 years for a new type of drug to be developed. Now, with AI coming in, the data which is getting generated from the sample population, be it rats or rabbits or later human beings, those sample population, that data which is generated, they are able to do extensive analysis in a quick time. And thereby, the 10 years, which is the usual time to develop a drug, is shrinking. It is maybe shrinking by about 20-25%. And thereby, we are able to get an AI integrated new drug being discovered or new drug being developed, which is a new application for AI. And lastly, then there is for mental health, for those patients who require treatment, there are online exercises, mostly in the form of video, for the mentally challenged people, how they respond to that video. And it is repeatedly given, maybe once in 2 days, once in 3 days, and their response to it is recorded and evaluated. And with this, the psychiatrists are able to come to a conclusion that the patient is responding well to the treatment, while this online exercise is only a test to confirm that the treatment is giving good results. So this is in stage 2. We find that AI has come in a big way. Now I come to stage 3, health records which are maintained, test results, images, scans, etc. One point which I would like to highlight, this is all personal data. A patient's data is given to another person other than the doctor, only with the patient's consent. It may be given to the patient's relative, but it is with a permission of the patient. But that is required to be pruned to generate macro data to see pattern amongst 100 patients or of a particular geographical area or a particular institution. So that macro data is made available without the names and addresses of people, so that we are able to generate policy. So as far as stage 3 and 4 are considered, is essentially about data analysis and coming to some new policy generation. So AI has come in a big way there as well in stage 3 and 4, essentially to find policies at society level or state level or national level. As I told you, it can be micro or macro or both. Today, the data is largely in the hospital server. Patient may be having most of the data, but it's unlikely to have 100% of the data which the doctor keeps in the hospital. This is the practice today in India. And very often, the data which for a patient who has gone to Amrita Hospital, the data which is there, he may be having some data, but if he wants to see the data and combine with in Astra Medicity, he goes, they may not be interoperable. The formats which are used, the computers which are used, they don't accept data from other than the same coded source. So this is a huge problem for citizens. This is being attended to through the National Digital Health Mission. That's another topic. We had covered it earlier. So this practice where data is in silos, in vertical containers. Now, that needs to be overcome by making sure there are common formats, common codes. Of course, patient's consent has to be taken if his data has to be shared with somebody else. But people should look at how to have this data stored in the cloud-based systems so that it is possible to access the data for the patient when he goes to another doctor. He says, I went to this hospital, they did this, following tests were done, but I'm not able to go there. I've come to you. I want you to see the data, see my tests and suggest what. Then all the data with the patient's access, the new doctor is able to see it and decide. So this is a big improvement which has come in AI. So we talked about diagnosis, we talked about treatment, we talked about health records and policy, how they can be changed, AI. And definitely in healthcare front, there has been a lot of improvement which has come to the assistance of the doctor. So let us see what is happening in India. Apollo Group has got AI for eye care and heart disease risk. Max Healthcare has got similarly for critical care, and they're saying reducing cost per patient because of you don't have a nurse as a person there. You have a smart nurse who will attend to you and then report all the data. So you save some money on that. The patient saves some money. There's a startup in Bangalore called Niramai, who has been able to do thermal imaging for breast cancer screening and has been able to come out with solutions which have enabled a lot of young women detect breast cancer, which is quite prevalent amongst middle-aged women. And it is non-invasive tests. There's a startup in Pune called Live Health, which has been able to do transactions of medical records and processing data, etc. There's a startup in Bangalore called Sig to Play, which has been able to do analysis of your blood sample, and the AI bots will give you microscopic examination of the tissue sample. There's a startup in Bangalore called Alendra, which has been able to do pap smear analysis very fast and has been able to help women, risk-prone women regarding cervical cancer. There is a Fujifilm Healthcare in India, which has also been able to diagnose diabetic retinopathy and been able to forewarn the doctors as well as the patients about the onset of their problem with the eye. So there are many initiatives which already happened in India. But if you look at all this, they're all related to diagnosis. Most of them are related to diagnosis, except serial 4, which pertains to data analysis and policy development. So in India, AI has started to be a reliable, in many cases, reliable assistant of the doctor. So I come to some of the new things, what will happen in AI in future. You see 2 hearts there. One is the digital twin of the actual heart. The actual heart is at the front. The digital twin of the heart is at the back. And I'll talk more about digital twin as we go along. So in future, digital pathology is going to be a major application. Today, when you want to go to a pathology lab, a blood sample is taken from your finger, is taken on a glass slide. That will continue. Your sample has to be taken on a glass slide. But you put the glass slide into an equipment, which is linked to a computer. The analysis comes on the computer. The entire analysis, which requires some operator to examine scope, etc. All this is done automatically now in the digital pathology application. Immunotherapy for cancer patients is in the offing. In many labs, they've already done some advanced studies, and they find they're able to genetically modify the patients that part of the patient's organ so that it can cooperate with the immune systems and fight the cancer. 3D printing of organ. So organ transplant from cadaver to a patient, of somebody is donating a kidney to another relative, from a live person to another live person. But now you can 3D print the organ based on your patient's size of the organ required, age, and other aspects of the bit. So this is something which has started in laboratories. It has not come into any hospitals so far. They are able to do gene editing technology for disorders like HIV and sickle cell, by which they are able to modify the DNA by certain techniques. It is still in laboratories. Then there is something called nanomedicine, which can reduce small drugs size-wise, content-wise, etc. So the toxicity of the drug is reduced, and therefore the bioavailability is higher. Digital twin has been developed in the computer for a particular patient, where you can do simulation and predictability studies. It is useful for, let us say, heart condition. You're able to make a twin of your heart based on the condition of your heart. And that digital twin heart will work in the computer just like your heart is working while you're in the hospital. And there they are able to do some simulation studies and look at how the heart will respond to some treatments. And finally, even though it is not directly pertaining to medical treatment or diagnosis, there is a legal liability issues which are getting resolved. Is likely to get resolved in future. Today, only USA, Canada, Brazil, and EU have accepted some tests to be done through AI-enabled softwares, and their results accepted. After seeing it on many, many patients' cases, they said, yes, this can be done through AI. In India, there is no legal status for AI. If a doctor is treating a patient with AI or without AI, his liability remains the same. The doctor is responsible. Doctor cannot say, I got the solution from AI and therefore I gave this medicine or I did this line of treatment. No, not in India, not yet. Even though there have been some discussions going on regarding Ministry of Health and Ministry of IT, whose nodal point for artificial intelligence, but it will take some time to come. So the AI's role in India, as far as healthcare is concerned, AI can be advisory, can be an assistant, can help in surgeries, but still the doctor who is supervising the robotic surgery is responsible. And all legal issues will be processed through the doctor, whether there's been an AI assistant or not. So with this, I come to my conclusions. AI, though it came in 1950s, it remained dormant for about 40 odd years. Then it started getting miniaturized ICs and Industry 4.0 applications. So slowly, AI started coming in engineering, medicine, entertainment, even agriculture. AI promises speed, promises accuracy. It avoids human fatigue, definitely, when the jobs are repetitive in nature, and gives some savings in manpower cost for organizations to employ less number of people. You can have robots doing some routine, repetitive jobs. In the healthcare sector, it has fostered development of many medical devices to enable the doctor to accelerate their diagnosis and even finalize the line of treatment. including the new frontiers of genetically compatible medicines. We talked about it, which is a new type of line of treatment which is emerging. It has already emerged in the West. So the future of AI in healthcare looks encouraging with initiatives like precision medicine, digital twin, gene editing, smart pills, etc., which have been successful in laboratory studies. I told you a few countries have already given legal acceptance to AI, while India has not introduced AI so far. No legal validity for AI in healthcare in India. Doctor's decision, doctor's line of treatment, doctor's role is final in diagnosis and treatment. He can use an AI at his own risk. If he is happy about AI, he can use it to speed up his diagnosis, finalize a line of treatment, and spend more time with the patient, which today he finds it difficult because AI-enabled equipment gives faster conclusions on diagnosis. So the quality of healthcare will definitely improve if you have an AI assistant. And it is something which will take some time for Indian healthcare scenario to see. Some private hospitals already started in a limited way. But as I showed you in the slide earlier, Apollo, Max Healthcare, etc. But it would take some more time to gain wider acceptance. As regards patients' medical records and evolving public health policies, AI is extremely good. There's no doubt about it. It can analyze a huge amount of data called big data and come out with conclusions to the experts who can look at it and ratify it and approve it. So AI is going to stay in many fields, especially in healthcare. Legal identity, I'm sure in India, will come after a few years. Till then, we'll have AI-enabled assistants helping our doctors. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Jai Hind, and I close my presentation at this point of time. Can I stop sharing?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. വളരെ മനോഹരമായി AI അതിന്റെ പാർട്ട് ഹെൽത്ത് കെയറിൽ എന്താണ്, അത് വരും കാലങ്ങളിൽ എത്രമാത്രം അത് ഇഫക്റ്റീവ് ആകും. നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ പറയും ഡോക്ടേഴ്സ് AI ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡോക്ടേഴ്സ് ഔട്ടായി, ഫീൽഡിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ ഔട്ടാവും. കാരണം ഇന്നത്തെ ടെക്നോളജി AI ബേസ്ഡ് ആണ്. AI എങ്ങനെ ഉപയോഗിക്കാമെന്ന് അറിയുന്നവർക്കാണ് അത് കൃത്യമായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. സോ ടുഡേ കണ്ണൻ സാർ നമുക്ക് തന്ന ടോക്ക് വളരെ മനോഹരമായി കൂടുതൽ AI കുറിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കാനൊക്കെ സഹായിച്ചു. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Sabu. If there are any questions, answer. I'm not a doctor, so I will have a little difficulty in answering some specific questions, but I will try.
Yes, Ansari sir, any questions? Arkengal, any questions? Shajimat sir?
Questions?
Yes, sir.
Actually, yes, given a wonderful speech about the AI information. That is, somewhere I read that it is narrow technology. That is, each thing is a small program. When these programs work together, they are telling that actual original AI has not invented. That is, the brain, how the genes are working. Because one or two genes, how it works, they already they have discovered. But the problem is that most of the actions are controlled by more than 2 or 3 or 4 genes. So what happens? The relative operation is not yet covered, and they are expecting by 2030. That is what I read from that one. So these are small problems. The thing is that already doctor has suggested that no humanitarian consideration or empathy is there. Suppose you have an operation of 2 centimeter or 1 centimeter operation is there. If any problem faces there, it will not stop. It will cut that 2 centimeters so and so, like that. Suppose see, when we are going for this one dental treatment, when the fellow what if he's doing something, what happened when pain comes, we'll touch and we'll show the hand, we will stop it. But if you are using AI technology, he will not stop it, because he has to he will continue until that is there. So humanitarian consideration and empathy will not be there. That's why
Okay,
that
I'll,
is
I'll respond to Ansari. You talked
Yes, sir.
about dental treatment. Dental treatment. In dental treatment, there is no robotic surgery.
Yes, yes. No, even if it
It is
comes
not there.
also.
It is not there. Primary
Not
reason is the access to the tooth is very, very limited for a machine to operate independently. That's one of the reasons, because you want the machine also to operate, do the surgery. The doctor also should be able to see it in between. So it has not become very popular. But to analyze the X-rays taken on digital X-rays taken of tooth or teeth, AI is used,
Yes.
but not for surgery yet. So if you want to know that let's say you're taking your child and you want to see whether any caries has developed or in the formation stage, you can have some method by which X-rays are taken all around and the picture can come on this. Instead of doctor trying to look tooth by tooth and slightly tapping on the tooth and asking the patient whether there's pain or not, because if there is caries, the patient will also say that, yes, it's paining a bit. So without that, today AI-enabled X-rays are there, but not surgeries. It's only in other organs in the body, there's robotic surgery. I don't think it's there for all organs, but some places definitely robotic surgery is there.
Yes. No, sir, in the future I am talking about, so that humanitarian and empathetic behavior will not be
That is
there.
not there. That is not there.
That is the main thing about.
Yeah, that is an important issue.
Issue.
We like to hear from a doctor what he feels, what he says, rather than from a machine.
That's it. Okay, sir. Thank you. You have done.
Thank you, Ansari. Thank
you. Wonderful and informative speech, because most of the people, most of us, we have wrong information about AI and all. We think that it will act like a human brain and all.
It will not.
So sometimes
I want to tell this audience once more. Most of the applications which you see are in India or today in our life are all weak AIs. And sometimes they are just digital computer controlled application.
Yes, that's
very simple operation. Now, there are many places who have got locks in front of their house, which you can open, which you can ask somebody else to open through a code, which you sent on a mobile, and you can give a call and the door will open. There's no AI in this. It is a digital code which is finally given, and it is a machine which gets the code and opens. There's no intelligence. In that yes,
you have
it is
already
just an
pointed out
actuation
that
based on data
you
which
have
is given.
already pointed out that no creativity is there by its own.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
Good, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ansari sir. Then Shajimad sir.
Anyway, Kannan sir's presentation has been comprehensive and in-depth, highly useful.
Can I see Shaji? I don't know who Shaji.
Myself, Shaji Matthew. Shaji Matthew. So your presentation has been comprehensive and in-depth. You talked at length about the basics of human intelligence. Intelligence is knowledge plus ability. Then you differentiated strong and weak AI, major techniques employed in artificial intelligence like machine learning, language processing, neural network, robotics. Then describe the disadvantages, lack of emotion, empathy, certain things are fixed, lack of creativity, privacy matter, about harming public safety, etc. Then you differentiated the advisory role, more about the advisory role, especially in India, not executive role. Then applications, you described at length its applications in diagnosis, treatment, health records policy. So my question, sir, does it really affect the future of doctors? Only anyway, doctor cannot proceed without this kind of applications. Without the help of applications, in future doctors cannot proceed very well. Still, does it affect the role of a doctor as such, scope of a doctor in future?
If I say very briefly, if you have AI-enabled equipment, a doctor has got AI-enabled equipment in his clinic or in his hospital, he can increase the speed of diagnosis. He can finalize the line of treatment faster, thereby getting more time with the patient to explain to the patient. And to a patient, you can explain very clearly with visuals what exactly is the problem, which in the absence of AI-enabled equipment, the doctor has to put in that much more extra time to collect all this data, understand, and then go ahead. The doctor's fatigue is reduced by AI-enabled assistance. But in India today, if you're going to have an assistant like that, please be responsible for his work also, because the law does not recognize an AI-enabled assistant in India till now.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Arian, sir? Unmuting.
Hari?
Very informative talk. Future doctors, of course, as it is, it's a complementary for doctors' work. Ultimately, it is a decision എടുക്കേണ്ട ഡോക്ടറാണ്. ഡാറ്റ ഒക്കെ കിട്ടുന്നത് അനലൈസ് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കേണ്ടതാണ്. പണ്ടൊരു പറച്ചു കേട്ടില്ലേ, ദി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് എ മോട്ടോർ വെഹിക്കിൾ ഈസ് ദി നട്ട് ബിഫോർ ദി വീൽ. അതുപോലെ ഡോക്ടറാണ് അതൊന്ന്. രണ്ടാമത്, ഈ ഇൻസുറൻസ് എമ്പതി ഒരിക്കലും കാണത്തില്ല. നമുക്കൊക്കെ ഡോക്ടറുടെ അടുത്ത് പോയാൽ ഡോക്ടർ എന്തെങ്കിലും സ്നേഹമായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മാത്രമേ നമ്മുടെ ട്രീറ്റ്മെന്റ് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ആവുന്നുള്ളൂ. വിൽ ബി ഓൾ റൈറ്റ്, ഡോണ്ട് വറി, 74 വയസ്സായതുകൊണ്ട് വിഷമിക്കൊന്നും വേണ്ട, യു ആർ വെരി ഫിറ്റ് എന്നൊക്കെ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് വായി വരുമ്പോഴേ നമുക്ക് സന്തോഷം കാണത്തുള്ളൂ. അല്ലാതെ
അലക്സ പറഞ്ഞാൽ ശരിയാവില്ല,
യു ആർ പെർഫെക്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു വിൽ നോട്ട് അക്സെപ്റ്റ്. എനിവേ,
അത് ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആണ്.
I don't know how many of you കണ്ണൻ മുമ്പ് ഞങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ പണ്ട് ഒരു 50 വർഷത്തിന് മുമ്പ് കൊല്ലത്തിരിക്കുമ്പോഴേ ഒരു ജനറൽ പ്രാക്ടീസ് ഡോക്ടർ കൃഷ്ണൻ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഡോക്ടർ കൃഷ്ണൻ, ഐ ഡോണ്ട് നോ, he used to come to your house once in a while. വന്നിട്ട് എല്ലാരും ഇങ്ങനെ നോക്കിയിട്ട് എന്നാ എവരിബഡി ഈസ് ഓൾ റൈറ്റ്, വെരി ഗുഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇത്ര ചെയ്യത്തില്ല. ജനറൽ പ്രാക്ടീഷണർ ആ ഇതൊക്കെ പോയി ഇപ്പോൾ ജനറൽ പ്രാക്ടീഷണർ. അതുകൊണ്ട് ആൾക്കാർക്ക് കുറെ കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ ലീഗൽ ഡിസ്പ്യൂട്ട്സ് വരുമ്പോൾ doctors will try to put blame on the machine. അതൊന്നും ശരിയാവുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷേ
you cannot put anyway, I told you, as per law it is not permitted now.
Yes. Ultimately we depend on the fine words from the doctor to hear from him that you are all right. Okay, thank you. Anyway, it was a very good talk. It's opening to future.
Thank you.
അതിൻ്റെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി, അതായത് നേരത്തെ ഈ കിംസ് ഹോസ്പിറ്റല് ഉദ്ഘാടനം നടന്ന സമയത്ത് അവര് അന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു, പിന്നെ അപ്പോളോ അതുപോലെയുള്ള വലിയ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലുകളുമായിട്ട് ബോംബെയിലും ഇതിലും അവസാനം വേൾഡിലുള്ള ഹോസ്പിറ്റലുമായിട്ട് അറ്റാച്ച് ചെയ്യും. അറ്റാച്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഒരു സ്പെഷ്യലിസ്റ്റ്, ഏതിൻ്റെ ഒരു എക്സ്പേർട്ട്, റെയർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള എക്സ്പേർട്ടുകൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവരെ കൊണ്ട് രോഗി ഇവിടെ കിടക്കുകയും ചെയ്യും. ഓപ്പറേഷൻ ബൈ ഇത് വഴി പിന്നെ AI വഴി ഓപ്പറേഷൻ നടത്താൻ അവിടെ ഇരുന്നിട്ട് അവര് ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്ത് നടത്താൻ പറ്റും എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അതിന്റെ ഫ്യൂച്ചറിനെ കുറിച്ച് ഒരു ഇതുണ്ടായിരുന്നു ലേഖനം. അത് ഞാൻ വായിച്ചതാണ്.
അതെ,
അപ്പൊ അതില്
അത് ശരിയാണ്, അത് ശരിയാണ്. അതെ, അപ്പൊ അതിൽ എനിക്കൊരു ചെറിയ പോയിന്റ് ആഡ് ചെയ്യാനുണ്ട്. ടു മേക്ക് എ റോബോ മൂവ് ലെഫ്റ്റ് റൈറ്റ് അപ്പ് ഡൗൺ by an operator sitting in USA through internet he operates it. അതിന് AI ആവശ്യമില്ല. അയാൾ അവിടെ ഓപ്പറേറ്റ് കൈ ലെഫ്റ്റ് റൈറ്റ് അപ്പ് ഡൗൺ ആവുമ്പോ ഇവിടെ ലെഫ്റ്റ് റൈറ്റ് അപ്പ് ഡൗൺ ആവും. റോബോ അപ്പ് ഡൗൺ ആവും. അതിൽ വലിയ കാര്യമില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഞാൻ പറയട്ടെ, പക്ഷേ അത് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ആ ഓപ്പറേഷൻ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ആ സമയത്ത് എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് കട്ട് ചെയ്ത്, വേറെന്തെങ്കിലും കട്ട് ചെയ്തോ, അത് കുറച്ച് മാറ്റി വെക്കാൻ പറ്റിയോ, ആ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ സാധാരണ ഇന്നത്തെ ഡോക്ടർ കണ്ണുകൊണ്ടാണ് കാണുന്നത്. പക്ഷെ അമേരിക്കയിൽ ഇരുന്ന ഡോക്ടർ ഈ ക്യാമറ ഫിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആ ക്യാമറ പിക്ചർ നോക്കിയിട്ടാണ് അത് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. എന്നിട്ട് അത് നോക്കി കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് പുള്ളി പറയുന്നു, ഓ ബ്ലഡ് ലോസ് വളരെ ജാസ്തിയാണ്, ഇത് കൊടുക്കണം, ബ്ലഡ് കൊടുക്കണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണം എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ ആ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ഓപ്പറേഷൻസ് എല്ലാം ഇവിടെയുള്ള ആൾക്കാരാണ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. അവരാണ് പേഷ്യന്റ് അടുത്ത് നിൽക്കുന്നത്. നഴ്സസും ഓപ്പറേഷൻ തിയേറ്ററിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാരല്ല. സോ ഈ ബാക്കിയുള്ള ഇൻസ്ട്രുമെന്റ്സ്, ക്യാമറ, പിന്നെ വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും മെഷർമെന്റ്, ഈ ഡേറ്റ എല്ലാം കമ്പൈൽ ചെയ്ത് അമേരിക്കയിൽ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ഡോക്ടറെ കാണിക്കാൻ അതിൽ കുറച്ച് AI ഉണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ ഈ കത്തി വെക്കുന്നതില് അത് AI ഇല്ല. അത് ലെഫ്റ്റ് റൈറ്റ് അപ്പ് ഡൗൺ അല്ലേ ഉള്ളൂ.
അതെന്തോ സാറേ മെഷീൻ ഇതാണോ, എന്തോന്നാ അതിന് പറയുന്നത്?
അത് ഉണ്ടല്ലേ, ഇപ്പൊ മാരുതി കാർ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത് റോബോട്ടിക് ആമാണ്. ഒരു കൈ ഉണ്ട്, അത് ലെഫ്റ്റ് റൈറ്റ് അപ്പ് ഡൗൺ എല്ലാം പോകും. അത് വെച്ചാണ് വെൽഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതും അത് വെച്ചാണ് നട്ട് ടൈറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതും. ആൾക്കാരില്ല, ആ മെഷീൻ തന്നെ എല്ലാം ചെയ്യും. അതേപോലെ സർജറിയും വളരെ കുറച്ച് സ്പേസിൽ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള വളരെ ഷാർപ്പായിട്ടുള്ള കത്തി വെച്ചിട്ട്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ലേസർ കട്ടിങ്ങും വരെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് മോർ ഓഫ് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് പ്രസിഷൻ. എത്ര ഫൈനായിട്ട് അത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, അത് എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് പ്രസിഷൻ. അതില് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഇത് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ബാക്കിയുള്ള ഡേറ്റ എല്ലാം കളക്ട് ചെയ്ത്, പിക്ചർ എല്ലാം കളക്ട് ചെയ്ത്, അതെല്ലാം ഒരുമിച്ചിട്ട് അവിടെ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ കുറച്ച് AI ഉണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ ആശുപത്രി ചോദിച്ചാൽ പറയും കംപ്ലീറ്റ് AI ആണെന്ന് പറയും. അതനുസരിച്ച് ബില്ലും വാങ്ങിക്കും, ഫീസ് തരും. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് സാബു?
Yes, anybody else? Eliama ma'am, Gio, G, George sir? Yes, George sir.
സാറേ ഒത്തിരി സന്തോഷം, താങ്ക് യു. കണ്ണൻ സാർ, പറയാതെ വയ്യ, സങ്കല്പാതീതമായ അനന്ത സാധ്യതകളാണ് ആരോഗ്യരംഗത്ത് വരാനിരിക്കുന്നത് ഈ നിർമ്മിത ബുദ്ധി കൊണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളത് സാറിപ്പോ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോ മനസ്സിലായി. കൊച്ചുമക്കള് ഈ അലക്സ അലക്സ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞ് വിളിച്ച് ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ കാണിക്കുന്നതൊക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിലും അതിന്റെ പിറകിലും ഇതാണ് എന്നുള്ളത് ഇന്ന് ആദ്യമായിട്ടാണ് കേൾക്കുന്നത്, അറിയുന്നത്. നന്നായി സാറേ, ഒത്തിരി ഒത്തിരി എന്നാ സങ്കല്പാതീതമായ അറിവുകളാണ് കിട്ടിയത്. താങ്ക് യു സോ മച്ച്.
താങ്ക് യു.
So anybody else? So thank you sir, thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night to all of you. Thank you. I enjoyed speaking on this. Permission to leave.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
Good night, sir.